Hello, everyone, and welcome to the English Hour. In this episode, we'll talk about a recent phenomenon, a comparison between objects and experiences. So, in the past, I think people paid a lot more attention, a lot more value to acquiring objects, and they saw or considered objects as valuable possessions and they made them happy. But I think recently there has been a growing trend to emphasize experiences. Instead of buying something, buying a new car, buying a new computer, people, especially in some Western cultures, started to take trips around the world, enroll in new classes. So people are now doing things other than buying to make themselves happy. And this brings us to today's topic. Which is better, acquiring objects or gifts, or acquiring new experiences? So that's the question, and we'll discuss the advantages and disadvantages of both, and we'll try to sort of keep this shorter, and we'll also try to talk a little bit more faster just to keep things in pace. Okay, John Beck, so which one do you prefer, an object or an experience?
Hi guys, so this is going to depend a lot on context because everything makes sense in context and this is no different. I think objects can be great because they are durable, they last longer than experiences. Experiences are great because they appeal more to emotions at first, if you think about it at first glance. Experience is something that you have personally. Object is out there. You can have it, another person can have it, and the relationship that you're going to form with that object is going to be different than the relationship that another person forms with that object. But in terms of being able to see it and ascertain its existence, it's just there. So when you compare experiences with objects, I think these are basically first of all, these are the basic things that are going to come up. And another thing I think is important to mention is that, just as you said, there has been a trend of emphasizing experiences more than objects. And we see that especially in marketing strategies. A lot of companies try to give you a taste of what it feels like to own their products or to have their services. And I believe what they're trying to do is they're going to try to show you, and they're already doing it, but they're trying to show you what kind of an experience you will be able to have if they have the object or the product or the service, if you have those things that they offer. So it's very interesting, right? So they're trying to sell us objects
Based on experiences.
Based on experiences.
That's very interesting.
That's very interesting. And it's almost like they are encroaching upon your personal space in terms of being able to think about things and coming to judgments. Like, you're going to look at something and you're going to make a decision. Sure. You're going to pass a judgment. You're going to think something about it and feel something about it. But when the person in front of you or the company in front of you tries to portray something as something else, or gives you the ready handmade experience themselves, then that's a little limiting.
Sure. Well, let's now talk about the advantages and disadvantages of objects. So one thing you said was that objects are durable, right? You can carry, maybe in some cases you can carry them around. In some cases they are simply not portable and they have to sit in a certain place. So I guess, for example, a wedding ring is a very nice object to carry. Mm-hmm. So like an engagement ring, a wedding ring. So it is both an object and the symbol of an experience. That's right? So when you look at that object, it symbolizes a certain experience, mm-hmm. A valuable experience in your case. So I guess objects are durable and you can go back to them, visit them, use them often. For example, if the object is something that will positively improve your life, then I think in certain cases it might be better than experience. I mean, if you buy a car that makes your life much easier, then it also offers you a better experience. Or maybe if you buy a computer, I mean, if you are very much into programming or design, a faster computer can really make your life a whole lot easier. And in that case, acquiring an object can also improve your experience. So there are cases where objects can dramatically improve the experience, but there are cases, for example, I don't know, you buy you buy $1 million art piece, and you might like the process of acquiring that famous art piece, but in reality it might have very little impact on your life. You like the process of acquiring it, having it in your collection, but then you will not spend your days or weeks looking at that painting or like carrying it around. Maybe you'll forget it, but you like the fame that comes with it. So it's a different type of object acquisition compared to objects that have a direct impact on your life. So what do you think?
Well, this question is pretty deep, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a philosophical question almost. And we are trying to approach it from different perspectives. And I think it is important to remember that I think it started out as like a question of if you want to give a gift to somebody, like, would you give an object, or would you offer them an experience, meaning like watching a football game, for example, or traveling to a foreign country, or starting music courses, like learning to play an instrument or something like that. So if you think about it in those more simplistic terms, I think experiences have their own place. Experiences make our lives richer, make us better human beings, depending on, of course, what kind of an experience we're having. And also, experiences take precedence over objects in one important aspect. Objects will never mean anything to us unless we have experiences with them.
Sure.
Even, even holding a glass of water, you have an experience with that object, that glass. You're going to drink that water, and then you're going to feel satiated maybe for a few hours. And that means, okay, I've had that experience, I'm happy with that experience, and as a result of that, I'm happy with the object. So if you look at it from that perspective, then experiences are actually a continuation of your relationship with objects. They're like hierarchically speaking, they are higher than objects. Objects are just there. Experiences are what you have based on your relationship with objects. And in terms of which one I prefer, I would say that it is a better idea to formulate and structure your life based on experiences rather than objects, because you can have all kinds of experiences with the same object. Like a house, for example. The first time you buy a house, think about it. It's such an incredible occasion. You are maybe a newly married couple, and you were able to buy your first house together maybe after 5 to 10 years of working hard and saving. And then you enter that house. It's a beautiful experience. Like, the experience of buying the house is incredible, and the house itself as an object adds great value to your life, because it takes the rent out of the equation, and you can basically relax financially and maybe use that rent to, that money to invest in something that maybe...
Or to create more experiences.
Or to create more experiences, of course. But when you're living inside the same house, that it was so enjoyable to buy that house and to own it. When you're living in that house, you can have experiences that are going to make you remember the house with a lot of sadness or disappointment or heartbreak. And it's going to be the same house, but the experiences are what shape your relationship with it.
That's true. And I have a slightly different approach. It just came up. So I think focusing on experiences can help you gain both experience and objects over the long term. So, for example, as a professional in your field, if you focus on experiences, that means you improve yourself, you up your game. Maybe you travel to new countries, you read new books, you attend new conferences and stuff. So those experiences make you a better individual, a better professional. Those experiences can improve your network, broaden your horizon, and so on. So they make you a more valuable person professionally, and as a result, these experiences can bring you a lot of material benefits. You can gain a lot of objects through those experiences, through the things that you learn via those experiences. So, this is a different take, but over the long term, experiences might beat objects, or experiences might attract objects.
Yeah, your interpretation has sparked an idea in me. And if you think about a small child, for example, learning how to play the violin. Violin is an instrument that you can buy a violin for maybe, I want to just speak in dollar terms because it's English, whatever. You can get a violin maybe for $30, $40, maybe $50, but you can also get a violin for a few $1,000,000.
Sure.
Depending on how professional you are. And maybe
you can, theoretically.
Theoretically, if you can, yeah. Be our guest. So you think about a small child, maybe 8 to 10-year-old, and is in love. This child is in love with the sound of a violin, and they want to learn how to play it. And it turns out that they have a natural talent for playing the violin. And what they really love is the sound, is the experience of playing the violin and listening to the violin. And they want to do it, and what happens? Their parents provide them with a violin, which is going to be cheap in the beginning, and then they will have that instrument, that object, and they will form a relationship with that object, and they will have what may turn out to be a lifetime experience. And in the future, this person is going to grow. First of all, their cognitive skills will grow, their musical talents will become enhanced. And over the years, there will come a time when they will become so talented and so professional that they will be able to get one of those incredibly expensive violins, but not because they want to acquire something expensive or it's not the perspective of a collector, for example, or somebody who's looking for objects. It's just somebody who needs the object to get the experience, because those violins that are worth $3-4 million, they're not worth that much for nothing. The sound, the quality, the durability, I don't know what criteria go into that, but they are built for a purpose. And when the person's experiences and when their place in life, standing in life, allow them to have that object, I think that's the most beautiful, most natural way to do it. And they will get there that way, but maybe they wouldn't be able to get there in any other way. Maybe they wouldn't have the money to do that, or maybe even if they had the violin, there would be no relationship with that object because they don't have the skills. So basically, experiences taking precedence makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. And as I said, and as you said, experience can bring objects. But I'm not sure if it holds true the other way around. So, this is basically our take on the debate of whether to acquire objects or whether to acquire new experiences. And I think we seem to favor the experience part more, but again, this is just our personal ramblings on the topic.
Yeah, this has been really experimental.
Yeah, it is very experimental.
Exactly.
So these are all spontaneous. Like we don't do written scripts. We just come here and talk on our feet, and we come up with ideas and thoughts, and we basically construct each episode through our interaction with each other. So these are very natural, these are very spontaneous takes, episodes. And as I said before, if you've got any comments, if you've got any remarks and questions, feel free to share them in the comments section, and we'll see you in the next episode.